Greetings folks, and welcome to my second video diary, this time covering the month of June. It was another busy one. Work-wise, work continues apace on the third Hollow Hills book. I'm getting there, it's nearly done. I was hoping to have it done sort of nowish, but my partner took a week off work, so we had a week away. So we're going to get in. I'll get more into that in a bit, because it was kind of a working holiday as well. But while I've been working on that, I've also accidentally wrote another novelette that goes with the Hollow Hills cycle. So, yeah. I'm not sure what to do with it yet, but I will be doing something with it. It's a story that spun off an incidental character in the novella I'm writing, and it's sort of spun off into its own thing. Yeah, so I've got that as well. That just needs editing. But yeah, the third of the Hollow Hills cycle is getting there. It's getting there. It's proved tricky to write because I mean, I first wrote Burning Reflection back in like 2019, and then Boiling Shadow came after, but it was kind of its own self-contained story with crossover elements. Now this one is acting like an umbrella, and it's kind of, you know, tying up at the ends of both of them. So yeah, there's a lot of, hang on a minute, have I got this right? I've spent a lot of time having to go back and check, because I can't remember what I'd written because it was too long ago. But yeah, I'm having great fun with it. It's coming. I'm enjoying it. It's coming along well. Yeah. Yeah, and there was a bunch of releases that came out, which I'm going to get into now. As of the last time, I will put all of the information, the links and how you can get hold of them below. So yeah, if you like the sound of something, just go and have a look in the information below the video, and you'll find the link, and it's the universal link, and it'll take you directly to your Amazon so you can buy it. Right-ho, yeah, so first, it's a novella. It's my novella from Nordic Press, Antisocial Housing. I alluded to this last time because it actually came out in May, but one reason or another I didn't do the launch and all that, and I'd just done a launch party like a few weeks ago, so yeah, I'll put the link to that below as well. It's about a shoddily built low-rise council block on a Cornwall housing estate, and that good old trope that it was built upon something that it shouldn't have been built upon. Yeah, actually, I love the cover. I mean, that basically does what it says on the tin. That's all you really need to know about this novella. There's some tentacles. And yeah, as usual, I like to give my cryptic clue as to what's going on, so take a leely. If you know, you know. It features some character that's appeared in quite a lot of my stuff in a supporting role in this, Detective Sergeant Finch. He's one of the main characters of my other novella, one of my other novellas, Miracle Grove, and another one, The Grime of the Ancient Mariner. He's a main character in both of those. And he's also in a bunch of short stories. He's in a bunch of short stories that are in my first collection, The Pseudopod Rots the Cradle, and will be in several in my new one, which hasn't been officially announced yet, but is, yeah, it's coming very shortly, very, very shortly. We haven't had the official announcement yet, so I don't know whether I'm supposed to be talking about it or not. So I'll just be cryptic. Yeah, so there is another collection on the way. That's another thing I've been doing last month, was arsing about sorting out that, putting master and doing all the little incidental bits that take so much time, like forwards and you know, epigraphs and acknowledgements and all this stuff that you think's quite easy, but once you start doing it, your brain will just go, what? Or at least mine does anyway. Yeah, so that is out now from Nordic Press, Antisocial Housing. Like I say, you can, there's a reading I did at EasterCon that I did while I was there. That's on my YouTube channel, and also the live launch party with another reading of a different part of the book is on there as well. So yeah, check both of those out and you'll get a good taste of it. It's very, if you've read Miracle Growth, it's very similar in tone. Yeah, it's definitely, well, it's part of my overall Bettles Cove mythos kind of thing, which is all kind of similar stuff. but it's not part of the Jurigathy cycle, which is the miracle growth thing. So yeah, just don't think too hard about it. It's a self-contained story. Yeah, like I say, that's out now. It's a lovely little book. It's yeah, a really nice little book. Yeah, so I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just read you the blurb. It's easier, isn't it, than me sitting here waffling on and going, oh. Some land should never be built upon. Called to a newly built low-rise block of flats on a Cornwall housing estate, plumber Paul Cannon finds more than a block toilet to contend with. Teaming up with a pair of local police officers, Paul's humdrum existence is turned upside down as something old and hideous stirs in the foundations. The tenants are vanishing, the noisy neighbour is in uproar, the nosy neighbour is in uproar, and there is something definitely wrong with the pipes. Uncovering a nightmare that stretches into the town's distant and often murky past, it's up to a ragtag assortment of local characters to ensure that what lurks in the walls of that cursed building never makes it to the outside world. Yeah, so, again, cosmic horror. If you like your Lovecraftian stuff, give it a whirl. Next on the agenda, and very, very exciting as well, is a project that's been in the pipeline for a long time. That you've probably heard myself, David Green, Callum Pearce, and Chris Hewitt alluding to, like, whenever somebody makes a rude joke and we have to give it the old "her matrons," you know, we have this idea of doing Carry On Cthulhu. But obviously, that you got to be careful with rights and things like that. So we came up with an alternative. We have got the Nookie-Nomicon, Bawdy Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos. So this is an anthology of Cthulhu Mythos tales told in the style of Carry On movies and classic British comedy in general. So yeah, lots of double entendre, lots of ridiculous comedy names, and rude innuendo, dad puns, you name it. If it's sort of really dodgy comedy, it's in there. Now, it's a beautiful, beautiful book, as you can imagine, and that's the paperback. Now, I would just like to point out that you could get your hands on a hard one. Matron, look at that beauty. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's a lovely hardback, and it's come out. It's Red Cape Publishing, who put out my novella Spiffing, and they always do a magnificent job. I mean, a couple of their anthologies as well, a couple of their A to Z ones. But yeah, it's, as you can see, it's a beautifully, beautifully put together bit of work. Is that? It's absolutely superb. Yeah. If you're familiar with the Simon Necronomicon, the cover is basically a riff on that. That was my idea. It's just like, yeah, let's take the piss out of the Simon Necronomicon. Yeah, so yeah, get that. It's a good one, isn't it? Yeah, so if you want to grab your hands on a hard one, click the link. Yeah, it's contained inside our tale. There's a novelette by myself in there called The Search for Rompy Pumpy. We've also got a story by Robert Poyton from the Innsmouth Book Club podcast and Strange Shadows, one of my partners in crime on those. We've also got Simone Green, S.O. Green, who also actually edited Miracle Growth, my novella. She does editing with Erie River Publishing. We've got Chris Hewitt, we've got Beth Patterson, we've got David Green, and Callum Pearce, and Ella Ann. So yeah, it's really good reviews at the minute. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. They're saying it's ridiculous and funny. So that's I'm happy as long as people are laughing. I'm happy. So yeah, like I say, you can get hold of those. But if you really want something special, you got to grab a hard one. Yes. After that, we had a release from Black Ink Fiction, who you may remember, they were the people who were brave enough to let me in charge of an anthology, the Cthulhu versus Musketeers. This one is actually edited by Patrick Winters, who's a great author, and I've been in a bunch of books with him. He's appeared on a bunch of launch parties and videos and things like that with me. Top chap. But yeah, and this was his baby, Odd Playthings, which is Tales of Toys and Terror. Excellent. Yeah, I've been in a couple of sort of game toy related things now. 3 actually. Yeah. It's always fun to muck about and destroy childhoods, isn't it? Now this time I really wanted to go kind of specific, because they were toys and that, and I remember like growing up in the 80s and that, and you know, and I remember what everywhere what it was. Yeah. So my story is called Intone and Inscribe, and it's basically a rip-off of Speak and Spell. You know when you used to go down the market and you have that really bad rip-off toys, you know, you get Action Man with like really mangled faces and all that kind of business. Or maybe that was just northern markets, I don't know. But you get the rip-off toys down the market. So I was thinking along them lines. And yeah, I came up with this, and it's obviously it's a Lovecraftian Lovecraftian Speak and Spell. So I had great fun writing it. There's some great people in there. There's Lamont Turner, Lynn Phillips, Nat Whiston. Yes, shout out to Creepy Bunny. Obviously Pat Winters, Radar Board, Scott McGregor. There's a few people who I'm not familiar with, but because I've not actually had a chance to read it yet. But yeah, looking forward to that. Got some great, some great titles and things like that in here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And as always, Black Ink put together a really nice looking book. It's the formatting's nice, it's clean, it's easy to read. You got a decent, the margins aren't ridiculous. Like sometimes you get really wide margins, or sometimes you get no margin at all. So I'm always pleased with Black Ink's presentation, and that's a good cover as well, isn't it? I mean, it's a nice cover, that. So yeah, there you go. Check that one out. And finally, on the release front, we have, again from Nordic Press, this is an interesting one because it's a sort of a crime anthology. It's called Murder, Mystery, Mayhem. Yeah, it's a good cover, isn't it? I like it. Yeah, so it's 10 stories of nefarious crimes and detection. So I just went doing an Agatha Christie. I'm doing a Christie. I've kind of already done it, like with Spiffing. That's got Christie elements, and also Cluedo elements. This is massive Cluedo elements. Like all I'm gonna say is, if you're familiar with Cluedo, give my story another read, and look at the names, and look at what objects appear. I did it. I've done the whole works. I've done there's Dr. Black, but it's a different version. You know what I mean? I've been clever with the names, but they all mean basically Miss Scarlet, Miss Peacock, that kind of thing. And all of the the candlestick that they all put in an appearance. It's set on the Flying Scotsman, set on a train, and it stars my bungling British explorer Eugene Angove. It's called Eugene Angove and the Perilous Peregrination, and I had immense fun with it. Because I'm a big fan of like Christie and stuff like that. And at the time I was watching all the Poirots in order. I've got the box set. We just bought the box set, and I was watching them in order, right? Great stuff. And I was like, right, I'm doing it. I'm going the full works. I'm having red herrings. I'm having everything. The whole 9 yards. Yeah, so this is my attempt at doing a proper Lovecraftian whodunit on board a train. It's basically like Murder on the Orient Express meets Lovecraft kind of thing, which is actually an anthology from Chaosium, and it's well worth a read. I'm not in it, but it's really good. Yes, so I check this out as well. I mean, I'm not entirely sure who else is in it, because it doesn't actually list the bloody authors on the contents page. Oh, well, I know David Bowmore's in it, so that's always a good sign. But and I think Josiah Witkowski's in it, who's in Musketeers for the Cthulhu and various other things with me. I think he's in there as well, but I'm not entirely sure who's in it, because, like I say, there's no not put the names. Oh, Some anthologies do that. It just confuses the crap out of me. I'm like, oh, who am I reading? Right, so yeah, I alluded to the fact that last week I basically had a week off, about a week away, but we went around lots of, like, we were going around like historical places, like visited Racton Ruin, we visited the Trundle, which is an Iron Age hill fort, the Weald Downland Museum, basically anywhere that's kind of like got creepy, disturbing backstory or hauntings or anything like that. I mean, these are like partly for Innsmouth excursions with the Innsmouth Book Club on their YouTube. The shorter ones will be used for that, and the longer ones will be part of my Tim Ennis Presents series, which I finally got round to releasing the second episode. It's now up there now, which is Binstead, which is a village not far from, well, it's fairly far from here. It's more over Worthing way. But it's a weird little place. I've never known. It's like walking around an M.R. James anthology, because everywhere you look has got some weird story attached to it. There's the Beast of Binstead. There's Spinning Wheel Copse, which is supposed to have a witch in it. There's Haunted Oaks. There's a haunted bloody hitchhiker. There's all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. There's in water dragons, right? There's a nooker hole which is supposed to be home to a water dragon. Nixies and all kinds of shite, right? So yeah, it's a good, cool little place. So yeah, I'll put a link to that as well. Check it out. Oh yes, and on the next item on the agenda, we'll be talking about the podcasts. Because as you know, I'm one of the co-hosts of the Innsmouth Book Club podcast and its spin-off Strange Shadows, which is a podcast dedicated to Clark Ashton Smith. We recently. It's not been out long, but we recently reached 200 downloads. So thanks for that. If you've downloaded, thank you. That's really cool of you, and I'm glad people are really enjoying it. This month we do it fortnightly, so we've had 2 episodes out last month. The first one featured the stories Sadastor, Ninth Skeleton, and The Last Incantation, because they're all kind of small. And then the second one was the end of the story. We had a guest for that one, Jeff Goad from the Appendix N podcast, which is a podcast based to the Appendix N in Dungeons & Dragons, which is like a recommended reading list. Yeah, we had some good fun. It was good fun on that one. Yeah, so check that out. The latest editions of the Innsmouth Book Club podcast are also up. One where we talked about Karl Edward Wagner's Reflections for the Winter of My Soul, which is I've never read before, and it's really, really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So yeah, check all that out. I'll put the links to those below. Yeah. Like I say, apart from that, I've just been plugging away, just getting on with things. Now I will be attending Brighton and Hove Book Fair on Saturday. This Saturday coming. I will be recording another short video in a day or so, which will be basically just talking about what I'm going to be selling, what's going to be there, just try and drum up a bit of interest and try and explain, because I know when you're there, you're like, it can be a bit like, oh, I don't know what any of this is. So, give people a bit of info. Yeah, why not? Cool. Right, well, thank you for watching. And like I said, if any of that tweaks you in a special way, get on them links and grab a copy. Yeah, and thank you for watching, and I will speak to you all soon. Good night.